Hello everyone. Today we have bake build again. This one unfortunately, as you can see, we're not seeing the full completion of it because I guess I messed up. I started working on the build and I thought I had started the recording, but turns out I didn't. So now we're starting kind of like with a lot of the build itself already done, completed. This one, I guess it like it was kind of new. I mean, a lot of this is new to me, like building like on this scale has been very new to me. But this one, I guess, because I wanted it to be very like menacing and opulent and massive in a way, and this lot, the size, maybe I don't know, doesn't fit how I wanted to, I guess. But I tried my best to make it still like a huge house, but not too like how do I say, like, it's not cluttered, but um like very very like claustrophobic in a way, like I don't know. And I still think it's a little bit because like the build itself is like very close. There's not enough like space for the garden, and like I made a little stables. You'll see like a little stable area where the horses will eventually be. But yeah, it feels a little bit too like on top of each other, which, you know, I was trying to avoid. I think it's not as bad as it could have been, but like, yeah, I don't know. I tried my best not to make it too on top of each other, but still maintaining kind of like this very oppressive build. Because in the lore of the save file, this build, this mansion, is going to be like the house of like, I guess, yeah, obviously a family of vampires. If you hadn't figured that out already, I don't know what to tell you. But in the lore of the save file, there's like he is going to be like, there's this guy that's really old, like really really old, like generational old, like maybe like, I don't know, 2 centuries maybe. And my idea was that he was like the brother of the king at the time, and he like must have gotten bitten at some point, and he just thought nothing of it. He was just like, okay, that was a weird thing that happened with like maybe someone like on the street like just accosted him at night and like drank his blood or something, but he didn't even like think that he would be like, this person would be drinking his blood. Maybe he was like, okay, this guy just robbed me or something, I don't know, and didn't even think about what happened. And yeah, and like he just goes on with his day, because as I don't know, maybe you didn't see some of my videos, but I established before that like in the save file I want to have occults, but I don't want them to be like normal people wouldn't know of occults, you know? So they are still trying to like hide themselves among normal people. So in the save file there's always also going to be a wizard, and he is going to be kind of out in a way. Like most people don't know that he is an actual wizard, but it's kind of like, you know, like during the witch trials, like people knew of witches or knew of vampires even, but like they didn't really, you know, a lot of people maybe didn't believe them, or it's a more like folklorish kind of thing. So people still think that this wizard is a witch, a wizard, but maybe most people don't. Most people think like, okay, he's just a weird guy that is like secluded in his tower. But yeah, the superstitious, the superstitious Sims would be like, yeah, that's definitely a wizard and we don't want anything to do with him. That's like bad vibes. We don't like any of that crap. because also like in the save file, there's not necessarily going to be a religion, but come on, I already did a cloister, not monastery, sorry, and there's going to be a church with a cemetery. So yeah, it's kind of like related to Christianity, and it's based like off of Christianity. I do intend on, in other worlds, introducing like different religions as well. Like I really want Tomarang to have a lot of Hinduism and temples like that. And I don't know, other worlds, like I don't know which ones, but eventually I want also like temples and like and stuff based on like Islamism, and like stuff like that, different religions. I want to include it on different worlds, maybe even like in certain worlds. Well, the one that comes with wedding stories, I think it's Tartosa. I was thinking, because it's kind of Greek inspired, if I'm not wrong, I could do kind of, I've been thinking of doing kind of like a Greek mythology kind of thing, where like kind of imagining as if like modern era still worship like all of those gods, like the old pantheon. So that would be interesting also to create kind of like that old style of like temples, like to Apollo or Zeus, or yeah. So yeah, but for now, Willow Creek, since it's this very like I don't know, it's very I don't want to say basic. I think it's based on New Orleans, right? But yeah, I guess since also I come from like a Christian background, I'm not religious myself, but I come from like a country that is very like Christian. So the main inspirations that I have like available in my life, a lot of the time, like these buildings and like monasteries and churches, we have a lot of those in my country. So like it just felt like the natural thing to start with, because it's one that I have a reference to base off of. But eventually I also want to create more like different religions as well, like places of worship of that kind. But all this to say that the people in the like the Sims in the same file, they are maybe the most superstitious ones. I don't know why I have superficial in my brain. The more superstitious ones are going to like believe in the occults, but maybe they've never met one, and they're going to be maybe like a little judgmental of like, oh, that's like sinful, that's like that person is not right. So most occults try to keep it under wraps that they are like different. So back to the story of this guy, right? He is like the brother to the king, like back then, a long time ago. And what happens is, yeah, he is bitten. He doesn't realize that it's a big deal. And then he starts undergoing the transformation. And he has a wife and child. And he becomes a vampire. He doesn't fully understand what it is. Because I guess at the time also there wasn't as much like understanding of these things, like even the most superstitious and religious Sims maybe didn't have an answer for him. And I think maybe at the time he wouldn't have thought to like share it with anyone, not even his wife, because he doesn't want to scare her. So yeah, he just tries to like go through it on his own and figure it out. And he ends up like kind of leading a double life, and he doesn't really fully understand what is happening to him until like he noticeably does not age, and his wife dies and child dies before him. And then he starts being like, okay, this maybe isn't really cool. I don't know if I like this. And maybe I should do more investigation into what the hell is happening to me, and like, how can I stop it? And yeah, he tries to understand what is happening to him. Eventually he finds out like the vampire community. And no, actually, I don't think he does. I think he finds it in like old books old research that like there is this creature that feeds on blood and doesn't die. And he decides, okay, I cannot bring more attention to myself. So he fakes his own death and pretends to be someone still from the family, but like farther away, like a distant relative kind of thing. And basically he lives that way until the present time, where like he either pretends to be his own son or fakes his own death and is like, okay, I am the son of, you know, himself. So he has lived throughout these centuries with the understanding that he thinks he's the only one that he knows that is this, right? Until present day, his niece and nephew start showing symptoms of what he had been going through, what he went through when he had this transformation. They start showing symptoms when they reach maturity, and he realizes, oh shit, how are these relatives of mine having the same thing I have without having been bitten? So he takes them aside and he asks, like, okay, did you guys get bitten by someone? What happened? And they're very confused, like, no one bit us. And so what he realizes probably is that through his own vampirism being like passed down to his child. Yeah, actually, okay, let's amend the lore. He maybe has his child after he turns into a vampire, because that's the only way it makes sense. Because the thing that I thought is through his vampirism, he passed it down to his child, and his child then had children, yada yada yada. But the strain of like vampirism remained like dormant in the family line up until this point. So now somehow his like, well, the ones that he says like niece and nephew, but actually they are like probably grandchildren, right? So they have the actually it's three. It's niece and nephew. Yeah, they all have the vampirism gene, and they like, he understands that, and he's like, okay, you guys now need to come live with me, because he explains to them what is happening to them, and he's like, okay, society is not going to accept you. If they find out what you are, they're probably going to kill you and persecute you, and you're going to lose everything of like your wealth, your estate, like your power in society, like everything. Because remember, this is still a line that is related to the family line, right? To the royal line, because he was the king's uncle. So this is direct descendants from the royal family, right? So yeah, he explains this to his nieces and nephew, and they're like, okay, uncle, we'll go and live with you on the family like estate. And this estate has been in the family for like generations, because it used to be his home when he was human. It didn't look as threatening as it does today, but the way I imagine it is like, maybe it was more clean, it was like more like not as like dilapidated, but in a way not dilapidated, but like it was more like tended to, so it didn't look as scary as it does now. Even though, like, I think Gothic architecture now is very tied to vampirism and vampires, because our media culture. But yeah, back then I don't think a building like this would have inherently be seen as like something scary or creepy. But yeah, I would say that maybe over the years the building just hasn't been cleaned a lot, and it's now showing like signs of age, so it looks a little bit more creepy. And also it sticks out because it's such an old style in the neighborhood. Like, my idea was like directly across the street from this lot, another family of like rich people, which are nobles. They are also nobility, so maybe they are also like somewhere along the family line they were like cousins of the royal family or something, or very distant relatives from like another line of royalty. So I don't think they are related to this vampire guy at all, but they are in some way also connected to the royal family, like maybe from the other side of the family, you know. So, and they are just normal ass people, and like the building in front of them is a very different architectural style, maybe more like Edwardian, more like you know, a little bit more modern than the Gothic architecture. And it's also like very bright. It's like a very white building with like a lot of much more welcoming, let's say. So I wanted to make this like these two very contrasting, and I also like want them not to like each other. They're gonna be kind of like a rivalry between them, between the families. They just don't really like each other very much. So yeah, the nieces and nephew go and live with their uncle, and their uncle in this like world is like known for being a recluse kind of. He typically doesn't show up to events. He sometimes like meets with the king, but usually typically just in private, and a lot of the times the king asks him for advice, but he is not really seen a lot, and so there's a lot of rumors about him, about like who he is and like what he does, like hidden away, because like I think like he is going to be a master vampire, right? So obviously he's going to have the perk which allows him to go out in the sun without consequence, right? So I guess there you have the thing of like people wouldn't suspect he's a vampire, but the way that he behaves in society already kind of makes him a little bit of an outcast, because he doesn't really, you know, engage in social stuff. He tends to keep to himself. He never leaves the house that people know of, and yeah, so he's a little bit like weird to society. And then when his nieces and nephew come to town, people are very curious, right? And these people, these kids, they like want social lives, because this is still their first like life, let's say. So they're much more open to society, but they're not like normal per se. Like one of them, the older sister, she is going to be the dutiful one. So she is very responsible. She takes care of her duties. She kind of is now becoming important in the politics of the world. Like she is going to be in the noble career. So she is going to be doing like alongside her uncle. She is going to be like working alongside the king. And, you know, obviously they're going to be noble focused. So they're going to be on the side of nobility. And yeah, she is very much like a diplomat kind of, or politician kind of person. She's very serious. She's very smart. She's a strategist. So yeah, she is 100% like, okay, I cannot make the secret, like the secret that we are vampires cannot come out. So she is very pragmatic and very aware. The other two, on the other hand, the middle child, which is the brother, he is not very happy to be a vampire, and he is going to be the typical like good vampire stereotype. He is kind of like this depressed boy. He like did not want to be a vampire, does not like the idea of having to leech off people like to survive, like blood wise. He doesn't like being a vampire. He doesn't like harming people, and he's very depressed over the fact that he's a vampire, but he can't do anything about it. So he is this kind of like very dramatic character of like, oh, my life, woe is me, I can't believe I'm like this. He's probably maybe like a poet, he paints, he like is very dramatic. He is going to be kind of a caricature of the romantic period, and maybe if like he falls in love, he's going to be very like ride or die, and like, oh, I'll love you to the end of my life, stuff like that. So yeah, he is maybe going to be like a little bit of I wouldn't say a playboy, but he's definitely going to be loved by society because that kind of thing would be popular, with the ladies. And but he like doesn't have that much of an interest to be a playboy. So even though he gets the attention from people in general, not just ladies, he is probably going to be waiting for that one person, but yeah, so he is depressed little boy that's very romantic. And then we have the younger sister, and she is going to be completely nuts. So she is very immature. We don't like, I think she's just like, she was just like this. It wasn't the fact that she was a vampire or anything that changed her into someone a little bit erratic. She just always was like this. So she is going to be the typical stereotype, kind of like, think Bellatrix Lestrange, kind of she does what she thinks is amusing to her. She maybe is a little bit mean. She doesn't care about what other people, like what happens to other people. She just wants to be entertained herself and to have fun. And yeah, so she's going to be very childish, very demanding, kind of like a diva, and like she is the most concerning one that the other two siblings are going to try and keep in check, because she is kind of a danger to exposing their secret, because a lot of the time, since she is the type of that doesn't really care and just does whatever she wants, she is in danger of like, acting a fool and maybe biting someone in broad daylight. Not broad daylight, because these are going to be a little bit lower on the vampire rank, so they won't have that perk of like walking in sunlight. But I don't know, she might, like, in one of the events or a ball or something, she might bite someone and someone might see. So the other siblings are always on top of her to make sure that she doesn't do anything stupid. And by doing that, she just becomes even more reckless. That one, like, for most of my characters, like, I have some that are more developed than others. I've mentioned before that a lot of the times I don't really have a gender assigned to Sims. For these, you can see that I have a gender assigned to all of them. I already know what gender they're going to be. I know the sexualities. I guess I forgot to go over them, but the older sister is going to be 100% a lesbian. She is only, interested in ladies. The middle brother, he's going to be bi. He doesn't really know. He's looking for someone, like one true love kind of thing. He's the romantic one, so he wants like true love and like that thing, because I will get there. But he becomes very enamored with his uncle's story, because his uncle has a very romantic love story that I will get into. But yeah, so he kind of wants that. And the younger sister, she is also going to be 100% lesbian. And yeah, so those are the ones that are like, I have their personalities decided, I have their sex decided, sexuality decided, their kind of lores decided. Now the uncle, like I mentioned, he didn't realize that he was a vampire. He didn't realize that he was going to live forever. So when his wife dies, and the way I'm thinking is, I don't think his wife would die of old age. I think she would die of some disease, maybe the Spanish flu or something like that, that would used to be like very deadly for people at the time. And yeah, unfortunately, she dies. He becomes like heavily depressed when his wife dies. He kind of like becomes a little bit of a recluse. He maybe doesn't raise his son, like maybe his son is kind of not taken from him, but like given to another part of the family to be raised. And he becomes just like, very depressed. He still does his like duties as like advisor to the king, as brother to the king, but he kind of detaches himself from like social bonds, I guess, or familial bonds. And all throughout the centuries, even as like the years go on, he never finds anyone else. He does not want to find anyone else. And you'll see when we get to the lower part of the house, because I don't know if you noticed, but when I was building like next to the ballroom, to the big ballroom, you have like a little a room that is only accessible through the clock, and that is going to be the entrance to the vampire like residence, I guess, to the uncle's residence part of the house, where like you have like in the lower ground, I guess, in the lower floor under like the basement, we have like a mausoleum for the family. So they like bury, because there's like a small cemetery outside, which I don't think would have like the actual dead from the family. It's probably maybe like butlers or servants or like something like that. It's not necessarily the family, because the family, I was thinking, would be buried in the family mausoleum, where that would exist like actually under the house, because I also want to have a cemetery for all, like for this world, obviously. And I want all of the Sims that are dead, that I guess don't have a private mausoleum in their home, to be there. So there will be a cemetery where I want to keep all of the Sims that are like lore accurate dead in this save file there. But here, those Sims pertaining to this family are going to be interred there. Among them is this guy's wife and child as well, but yeah, so they are there, buried there. And he, for his wife, has like this whole thing with like it's very decorated. He brings flowers every day to make sure that the flowers are fresh. He like lights all of the candles around it, so he's still very devoted to her even in death. And this is what his nephew sees, like when they move in together and they start learning and being with their uncle. They start seeing like the devotion that he has for his wife and how much he loves his wife still. And he wants something like that. His nephew, he wants to find someone that he feels this strongly about. So even though maybe it's not a great role model, he sees his uncle as this role model of a person that he wants to find someone like his uncle found, where they're very profoundly in love and they're the only one for each other. So yeah, this is kind of like one of the important families, which I also want them to be like not great, like most of them are fine, but they're also very mean, like to other people. They're kind of just, they're rich people. They're on their own. They don't care about the lower classes. They're just like enjoying their their lifestyle, I guess, their like richness. They don't really bother with like thinking about like social like welfare. So even in their like careers, I guess, in ability, because the other two, the younger ones, so the nephew and the youngest niece, they're not going to be very involved. The two of them are doing their own thing, right? So the nephew is trying to find his one true love, and the younger sister just wants to have fun, and she wants to like be kind of insane, just do whatever she wants. And the older sister is the only one that is the most involved. And even still, she, in a lot of her politics, she is very noble, focused. Maybe because they've never even like had any interactions or like any desire, I guess, to even see how life is for the lower classes, so they have no interest. Same with the uncle. Him at some point he becomes so detached from humanity that he still gives advice to the king, to the current king, but he is not up to date with a lot of politics and stuff that is going on. He doesn't really care about like the welfare of the people. He's just like, kind of the traditional not politician because he's not elected, but also not a diplomat, aristocrat. What are they called? I don't know. But his like ruling style, I suppose, is much more traditional. He does not spare a thought for the lower classes, and he just focuses on issues that are pertaining to like nobility. So these people are not nice. They are fun, I guess, to think about and to play with, but they're not going to be nice people. And most of the people, even within like the royal court, are not going to like them. They're going to be heavily disliked. There's people that like them, of course, like the younger generation maybe finds them very, very appealing, right? Because they're attractive, they're very mysterious. But the older generation and most of court is not going to be very favorable to them. They haven't been favorable to the uncle for a long time because he's very strange, he's very recluse, and the king still pays attention to him and still cares about his opinion. So to a lot of people in the court, that is kind of like a threat, I guess, because there's also going to be a lot of politics like in like who is closer to the king, who has the power over like specific policies. I don't know. They're not going to be very well liked. But they're going to be very the kids, I guess. Most of them, they're going to be very like present in the social events. The older sister, because she knows she needs to be there, because if she is like this important person in court, she needs to make her appearance and she needs to be very respectful. The middle brother, because he is looking for someone, right? And also because like he enjoys, like deep down, even if he is all moody and like sad boy stuff, he enjoys like the social aspect of high society life. So he likes balls, he likes dancing, he likes music. He wants the social interaction, he loves the attention, but he still has not found someone that he feels truly loves him, because there's all these people that like him and they're obsessed with him, but he feels they see like a surface version of himself, someone that he doesn't really relate to. So he wants to find someone that will see him for what he is. And the younger sister, she is always going to be doing crazy stuff. So she's always going to go to social events because she loves them. She also loves the attention. She's also very beloved by all of the women in court in high society because she's always messing around. Whereas like her brother wants to find someone to settle down and be with, she is very like, no, I will not settle down. I will be with as many women as I want. I do not commit to anyone. She just wants to have fun and break hearts, I suppose. But mostly she's just she follows her whims, right? So these people, they will definitely have a lot of scandals and they're going to be very judged. But yeah, they're so rich and old and powerful that it's going to be almost impossible to like actually destroy their family legacy or their like importance, I suppose, because they are so heavily tied with the royal family. And yeah, so they're kind of in a place where they can do whatever the hell they want because they're super rich and super notorious, I guess. So yeah, they're going to be a little bit insufferable. Here I am building the older sister's room. I tried to make it be like a mixture of like, she has this area where obviously she sleeps, right, the bed, but all around it is going to be very focused on job. She has her little desk there where I imagine she writes letters or doctrines or stuff, whatever the hell these people used to do. And then like right next, she's going to have like a little table with instruments of like strategy, maps, and like all that, books. It's going to be kind of like a private little library for her. And then on the other side, she will have a throne where she does all her like noble career stuff, I guess. She also has like her own, I guess all of them have their own swordmanship little dummy so that they can practice. Because obviously they're going to be well versed on like swordmanship. I played around a little bit with the new content and the mechanics of like creating your dynasty. I never know how to say that word. Is it dynasty or dynasty? It's funny because I remember there's in Elden Ring the guy Mog, when he says it, he says by dynasty, so he says dynasty. But then I also heard it said dynasty. So is it one of those words that it's said both ways, I guess? Because now every time that I start saying it, I say dynasty because of Mog. But then I feel like it's wrong and I correct myself to dynasty. So I don't know, whatever. So dynasty, I suppose. I played a little bit with it and I still haven't played that much with it, but from my understanding, like, you can choose which skills and which activities or, I don't know, lifestyles are like in line with your dynasty and with like the values of your dynasty to like create like kind of a legacy that you can be proud of, right? So like in the world in the family that I played with, the dynasty was very much like, okay, we are an adventurous family, we value sword fighting, we value adventure, and we value, I think it was academic prowess or something like that. So for example, if they watch TV, that would bring the renown down, because watching TV, I guess, is seen as something that is lowbrow or not intellectual or not adventurous even. I don't know which metric it was using to decide that TV was like anathema. That's the only word that I can think of, but I don't want such an expensive word. Like opposite, like the you know, against kind of what the dynasty kind of like wants, you know, this academic adventurous family. So yeah, so I'm interested in, I'm curious to see how it's going to be for me to set up like the values that these families like uphold as good or bad. So that's going to be interesting. And I guess I won't have the problem with the TV, because none of my builds are going to have TVs. I guess the only TV that is going to be in this world, it's in the bar, not the bar, the gentleman's club, the ladies and gentlemen's club, which was the video before this one. You can go watch it, where there is the TV that kind of like is disguised as a frame, like as a painting, because I thought, okay, I am trying to keep everything very like not modern, you know, because it's trying to be historical. But obviously, you know, The Sims is not an historical game. It's like it's modern. People walk around with cell phones and stuff. So I want to keep it as immersive as possible, but I still am maintaining I still am aware that The Sims 4 is a modern game. So the gameplay a lot of times requires a computer or requires a TV or requires, whatever, these items that are modern items. So I decided, okay, let's put one TV in the whole world, and if it's necessary, it's there, and it's kind of like disguised. And with computers, I've been using a specific computer that doesn't look as modern as the rest, so it kind of like, for me, keeps a little bit of the illusion, even if obviously, it's not something that you would see in historical builds, I suppose. But we stay happy with what we have and what we get, because again, don't want to talk about it again, but I don't want to do mods because they're too much trouble. I don't feel like doing that, so here we are. And speaking of mods, it's kind of like crazy, because while I was doing all of this, I guess after I did all of this, like these two houses that are very like opulent and very like high society, the Bridgerton kits came out, the ones that have like a lot of Baroque inspired furniture and like items. So that was kind of like crazy. I was like, okay, I guess I'll buy them because I'm pretty sure I will use it, especially for the Royal Palace, because it has a lot of items that are very like very opulent, very Baroque, I guess. So yeah, I was a bit like, okay, that's a bit lucky, because I'm not doing anything with mods, so I don't have much of the same items would have been repeated, throughout the houses, and they already are kind of I reuse a lot of like for example, I use a lot of the playing card, like the what is it, the game table, I don't know what the item is called, but it's the table that like allows you to have the games in the Sims, so you can do the cards, the dominoes, the llama game, I forget the name. So yeah, I usually place it a lot, because during these times like people used to play cards a lot, and obviously there's just one table that looks a little bit more like refined, which is the one that is like, I usually always use the swatch that is like green and brown, so that obviously would have been repeated like in every house, in any like noble house, and the Bridgerton pack, the kit, I guess, came with like a games table that looks much more like fancy, much more elegant. So I was happy for that, because now like I'm not gonna go back and change these builds, but at least there's going to be a difference, right? If you're playing with one house that has all these items, you go to another house and they have different items that are maybe a little bit more opulent, which it even makes sense, right? I guess the Royal Palace would have much more opulent furniture, even though these people are also filthy rich, so it would make sense to see it in their house as well. But yeah, here we are doing the middle brother's room. As you can see, kind of like I wanted to have this duality, right, between he is human, so he has a human bed, but he also, funnily enough, because the other two are, I guess, a little less bothered with being vampiric, yet they don't have coffins. The only one that has a coffin is the brother. And I guess it's like this idea that like, even though he is very like kind of depressed with being a vampire, he kind of likes it as well, because it gives him like this air, like mystique, of like, I'm different, I am like cursed, I'm so dramatic, I'm like so forever eternally cursed. So he's very like theatrical and dramatic with all of that. So I thought it would be fun to like include the little coffin, like he has a side area where if he wants to like go into his coffin and cry or something, I don't know. And then he has the mirror right next where he's reminded that he has no reflection. I just thought that was so funny. I you know, the type of people that revel in their own like sadness. That's the type of guy this guy is. He's like so in love with his depression, with his sadness, with his like tragedy. He's very self-pitying, and he romanticizes his sadness in a way that is not at all healthy, but you know, it's what he is like kind of doing to survive, I suppose, or to like kind of come to terms with the fact that he is not going to die and he is now dependent on blood. Now, I don't think, because I do know that there is a cure for vampirism in the game, but I think that it would be interesting if, you know, he claims that he doesn't want to be a vampire, he hates it, it's a curse, and if there was anything that he could do to like go back or not be a vampire, he would. I think it would be funny if this guy eventually finds the cure and he just chooses not to take it. Because even though he says he hates it, I think he loves it. He loves being a vampire. He loves the sadness that it brings him, this like addiction to his own sadness. So yeah, I don't think he would take the cure, and I think it would be fun to like get him to the vampire lore max and for him to find the cure and just pretend he didn't see it, you know? And just keep living his life as if being a vampire is the worst thing and he hates it. But he just, you know, he doesn't want to actually change. He's actually very happy in his own sadness. So yeah. For him, yeah, I think he's a very funny character. Of course, you know, not making fun of people that are actually depressed. I think this guy, he is more of like self-pitying, like his depression is not actually depression. He is sad, but he is not like, it's not with the same intensity. He just like, you know, he enjoys his suffering a little bit too much, and it's just, you know, he's addicted to his self-pity. It's a bit different. Yeah, as for his sister, you can see the room is very pink. It's very childish, very mature. She has her little sword practicing dummy be like the little bunny. She's very girly. She's very like, you know, feminine, but in a like cutesy way. But by no means, like when I say she is childish, I mean her behaviors are childish, because when I actually make her, she's not going to be childish at all. She's going to be very mature in the way of being. It's just sometimes how she acts and certain behaviors that she has. So for example, she has a dollhouse. Sometimes she'll play dolls, you know, but it's not a childish in like an actual child way. Like her mental age is not like lower than her actual age is. She's an adult. She's a woman adult. She knows what she's doing. She's just very erratic, and she's very like, I do what I want when I want. She's a diva. She wants what she wants, and yeah. So she's very, I think she's very a very interesting character as well. And she definitely will be like an agent of chaos in this save file. I want her to be just as disliked by just as many Sims as she is loved, you know? She's going to have a lot of people that really like her, that want her attention, that love her, but she's not going to be a nice person. She is using a lot of people, and she doesn't care about a lot of people. She cares about herself, and sometimes she cares about her siblings. Maybe not even then. She, you know, she's just interested. She's very self-interested, and that's all that matters to her, is having fun and enjoying herself and living her life to the maximum and not caring. If it was up to her, she wouldn't bat an eye at having her vampiric identity be revealed. She does not care. She believes herself to be much more powerful than mortals, so she can do whatever she wants and there will be no repercussions. So yeah. You will see also that in these like more rich people builds, like their houses, they're always going to have like a little room where I am imagining the butler, not imagining, where the butler will be, will live, I suppose. The room will be the butler's room. I don't know, I always try to make it look as like simple as possible, because I think it's funny, the contrast between these people's houses that are super opulent and then you cannot spare like some good furniture for the butler, the one that does everything for you. You just let them be in like a shitty bed and like a simple room. You know, I think that's a fun contrast to be like, yeah, these people are rich and they don't care. They don't give a shit about the poorer people. They don't care about working people. They just care about themselves and their lives. So yeah, all of these rich people, they're not going to be nice people. They're even the nice ones, they're still rich, you know, they still don't care about you, about the lower classes. So yeah, I always include the butler room, but I always make sure to have the furniture like not be great, to kind of showcase that these people are rich and they just care about themselves. Yeah, and I'm almost done with this upper part now. There's just like, I create a little studio where they can, you know, do their little paintings, make their little gemstones. I imagine the like younger sister, she would like to create jewelry a lot. The middle brother, he is going to enjoy painting. The older sister, she's gonna like playing the organ like her uncle. Her uncle will be very, you know, very dramatic as well. Not as dramatic as his like nephew, but he is dramatic to the point of like, you know, he also plays the organ, he writes poetry, he very, very depressed man as well. But yeah, and the older sister, she is going to be the closest one to him in a way, because the two kind of understand each other, and he sees her as like an heir. So she is going to be the heir of the dynasty, and so he will kind of naturally see her as like, okay, I'm going to teach you everything that I know. So a lot of times the uncle doesn't really pay that much attention to the middle brother and the younger sister, because unless it's like to make sure that they keep the secret and to make sure they're following the rules, so they're probably not going to have a very close relationship, the uncle and those other two siblings. Maybe the younger sister will really not like the uncle, but because the uncle is like the authoritative figure and is going to be telling her what to do, and obviously she doesn't like that. So yeah, there's going to be some contention there, and maybe the brother, he wants some attention from the uncle and sees all the attention being taken by his sister, and he doesn't like that. So maybe he's also going to have a strained relationship with his sister. Yeah, so all of them are going to have, like, I don't think they like each other very much. Just in the same way that, like, most people don't like them very much. They don't like each other very much. Besides, I guess, the uncle and the older sister. So the two of them are going to be a little bit more similar in certain aspects, and they're going to like each other much more, or tolerate each other much more. Yeah. So now we're already downstairs. This is the thing I was talking about, right? You come down to this kind of basement, I guess, and this is the living area of the uncle. He kind of, you know, has his own like living room, his own like study, kind of like library. Yeah, and yeah, his own organ there. where he plays very depressed, thinking about his wife, his dead wife. Yeah, I don't know if, because I was thinking of, there's a lot of like storylines in my Sims lore that include a lot of dead people. I don't know if I want them to be available as ghosts, because I think that would cheapen the whole idea, like the whole narrative behind it. Like I don't want this guy's wife to be present as a ghost. I think she's just gone, you know, like, I don't know. Or maybe, I guess I could also use the gameplay thing of like being reborn, and maybe his wife or his wife's soul is alive somewhere in the save file, but he maybe will never get to see her. That would be interesting. Maybe like she is reborn as like a lower class, so since he is so like high up in his high castle, he would never deign himself to lower himself to that lower class, so he would never actually meet his wife in this new lifetime, even though he yearns for her so much and she is alive somewhere and he just doesn't know because he's just, you know, a dick. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. That would be a way to like have them still be there, but like not. So maybe I'll do that, but I'll have to see the logistics of it but I guess I could cheat it. I was thinking because you need to complete a lot of like bucket list stuff to have that option available to be reborn as a ghost or something. Yeah, so I guess I will cheat all that and make her be reborn, but now I have to think who she would be reborn as, because I do have a lot of like villagers, but most of them are married or like, I don't know. I guess I'll have to think about it. I guess she could be, I'm thinking there's the sisters that are farmers, and one of them falls in love with the wizard, but the other one, she is very dedicated in like maintaining her family's farm, and she is single. She has, I guess, no interest in finding someone. She's much more focused on ensuring that the farm goes well and that they are able to make a living off of it and to keep their parents' family farm alive. So maybe I could make her the or so after like, okay, after this mansion and after the other mansion that is right across the street, I built the village, and the village is huge. Like I was kind of like putting all the footage together and making it like sped up, and it's like 3 hours long. I will have to edit that down and maybe make separate videos because I don't think I want to release a 3 hour. I already like have pretty long videos that like reach an hour, and I'm already a little bit like, ugh, should I put it out? Because it's so long. And I know like people sometimes like long form content, but it's like, do people really want a full hour of me yapping and seeing like a sim build? I don't know. But so maybe I will split it a little bit between like the houses that I'm building, because there's separate buildings in the village, because how I'm going to do it is basically it's going to be a residential rental, and you have like obviously the maximum number of units you can have per rental is 6, so I can only have 6 households, even though like my previous ideas I had a bunch. I think I had 12 families, but that's just not, I can't do that, so I had to reduce them to 6. And I like joined a lot of them together. I kind of forced them to, there's a family that literally has like a lawyer, a teacher, a judge, so because I also wanted to give them like professions that would make sense in the village, you know. But yeah, back to the point. There is a family in the village that I I wanted to like kind of have it based off of the Bennett family from Pride and Prejudice. So that family is going to have a lot of sisters, obviously, because they're all sisters, right? And the Lizzie Bennet and Jane Bennet, those two, I guess, are taken, but we still have Kitty and Mary, and who's the other one? I forget the other one. Lydia. Oh my god, how could I forget Lydia? So obviously Lydia in the book is like marrying Wickham, and Wickham is like nasty guy. But I don't know, we could, because obviously, yeah, it's going to be loosely based off of the Bennets, but not necessarily following their storyline. So I guess depending on those, I could choose one of the three to be the reincarnated wife of this guy. And maybe there is a chance that they will meet, because they, even though they are lower class, you will see when I put out the village one, they are going to be, I made 3 middle class families and 3 poor families, so actually lower class. And the Bennets, I guess the makeshift Bennets, the copy Bennets, they're going to be middle class, like maybe a little bit bordering on upper middle class. So just like, you know, the one that the stand-in Bennett and Lizzie, they are going to be married above their stations, because one of them is going to be married to the cousin of the current heir, like for the royal family, and that would be Mr. Darcy. And he's going to, like, you know, in the same way in Pride and Prejudice, they're going to like meet somehow in like a way that is like, how is someone this high class in a space that is kind of like lower middle class? But yeah, they end up meeting. They don't like each other at first, but they then keep meeting, and they start, you know, liking each other, just like in the book or the movies or the show. And maybe through that, this vampire guy might meet the reincarnation of his wife. So yeah, maybe that would be a cool storyline. And like, through this save file, I kind of want to use, I guess, gameplay tools that I typically don't use in my normal play. Like, I don't think I've ever had one of my Sims actually be reborn. I have had them, you know, having the option to be reborn, but I never chose to do it. So I think it would be fun to like explore these like things that are and have been in The Sims, but I just typically ignore. A lot of the times I just don't use these features. I don't know why. Sometimes because it's like, it's different and I don't want to like introduce any change to my gameplay. But I don't know, it might be fun. So actually, now that I thought about it, I think I might have a lot more reincarnated Sims in the save file then, because there's so many people in the save file that are dead, that it would be interesting to have the reincarnated versions of them. There's some good people that are dead, there's some evil people that are dead, and it would be cool to, I guess, have their souls reincarnated in modern people. Not modern, but you know what I mean, new people. So yeah, I guess I'll think about that. Here, I guess we are already in the mausoleum. I've wanted kind of this area to be, you know, a mausoleum. So it's gonna be like creepy, it's gonna be dark, and I imagine like the uncle, he doesn't really care for comfort. He has been alive way too long, and he's very detached from mortality. Like, he barely needs anything. Like, he is going to be like super master rank vampire, so he's gonna have all of those quirks that are like, he doesn't need social, he doesn't need to shower, he doesn't need to do anything. Basically, he can stay alive by just, you know, drinking blood. That's all he needs. Literally all he needs is drinking blood, and he will survive. So yeah, his existence, I guess it's gonna be very sad, I suppose. He is like, you know, sad about his wife, but he keeps himself alive, and he keeps himself lonely. He barely feels alive anymore, you know. He's just like kind of like a gargoyle, a statue of himself, or a shadow of who he used to be. So yeah, down here we have the mausoleum. I don't know, like, I think maybe I will have to replace a lot of the stuff that I'm putting up here on the podiums with like actual urns, because I don't think you can like place, I don't know, I never tried. I don't think you can place like Sims remains in the coffins, and I put the coffins down here. So because I like the coffins there, I don't want to put these like stone like graves that came with the Life and Death. I like the visual of the coffins a bit more. So yeah, I guess maybe I will have to replace the little objects there on the pedestals with urns for the actual Sims that died. That's gonna be a lot of work. Every time I think about it, it's gonna be a lot of work to create all of these Sims that are dead. And then, like, you know, I guess they at least made it easier now, where I can straight up just create a ghost. So yeah. And I think the ghosts have like the option to, like, you know, just go. Just, I don't want to be here anymore, and just, you know, die, I suppose. So I guess that's good. That makes my life a little bit easier when creating these myriad of Sims that are going to be dead. That's going to be a lot of work. But yeah, I cannot put the horses in front of the carriage. I'm still... I honestly, I'm getting pretty close to finishing the Willow Creek, which is very exciting. Like, I finished the village, which was a massive undertaking. That was crazy, but I'm very satisfied with it. Every time that now I look at like the map of Willow Creek, I get so happy, because it's starting to look like, with all of my builds, it starts to look so historical. It looks so magical somehow. I'm very happy with how it's turning out. And I think now I just need to do the market, and then it's just other 4 builds, if I'm not mistaken. So it's 5 to finish Willow Creek, and then I just want to finish up the major like builds in other places that you might visit. So for example, I want to do the high school and the auditorium, because like obviously there's going to be teens, and the teens are going to go to high school, right? And I don't want them to go to high school and it's just like, oof, American high school in the fucking historical, magical, like, save file. No, thank you. So I'm thinking of finishing up the high school, which I wanted to be kind of like a Hogwarts inspired high school. I was thinking that there would be like a section for the normal Sims, and then there's going to be a hidden section for the occults, because I want the high school also to include that degree of like magic, I suppose. And then I also want to make the magical realm, which is also going to be Hogwarts inspired, but very different, because I want the magical HQ to be like as magical as possible. It's going to be Hogwarts, and I guess the high school is going to be more dark academia, more like, you know, you are in an academy. So yeah, so I also, after Willow Creek, I will also do those 2, and then I will, I don't know, I guess I will at some point have to start creating the Sims themselves, and eventually I will need to do all of the other like lots that are necessary. So for example, the police station or the detective thing for the detective career, the what else? The hospital. So yeah, I will have to do all of that. It's a lot of work, but I think it's nice. I think it's gonna be cool. I'm getting very happy with the results of like what I'm creating. I get really happy when I open up the save file and I see everything. So we hopefully will get there. Yeah. And thank you so much if you made it to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you like this mansion. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. And have a good day. See you next time. Bye bye.